Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. This video is about getting an edge to grow faster. If you have a business that you're operating and it's pretty stable, it's on autopilot practically, it almost runs itself, you can you can get comfortable and start resting and just give it slight pushes every once in a while and it just keeps going. That can be a trap. If you have steady demand for what you're selling and steady revenue, and if you have a good staff, then your business, maybe it seems like it runs itself. So that can be kind of a trap. Here's how you know. Look at your goals. If your business stays on the same path it is now on autopilot, how quickly can you attain the goals you've set for yourself if the business doesn't change? I mean, it's one thing to say it's cool that the business kind of runs itself, it's stable, there's good demand, I have a good staff. But if your goals are not going to be attainable because your business is at it's just not growing, it's not growing, that's probably not a good thing. And another way you can tell if you're sort of in this mode, look at your goals from 10 years ago. Did you reach those goals that you set 10 years ago? So this is not the same as drifting. Drifting means you're not really pursuing anything. Maybe you don't have a stable business. You're just sort of going day to day in your life. This is more like you have an existing venture that's operating well, providing you a comfortable living. But you look at your goals from 10 years ago and you realize, I'm not even close to getting what I had set for myself 10 years ago. So that is a sign that your business is not growing and it's not providing enough to help you reach your goals. And if you set goals 10 years ago and you did not attain them, then you may be in this complacency situation where you become complacent, just going along with the flow, going with the flow. The business runs itself. It provides a decent income and it's not growing. I'm not reaching my goals, but I do have something I can rely on for an income. So that may not be good long term, because after a certain amount of time goes by and you look back, you say, I'm not really getting what I had set out for myself. That can be kind of a bummer. So here's how business owners avoid complacency. There is a way out of this. There's a way to catch yourself and say, I'm not growing fast enough. I need to grow faster. And this explains how to do that. Okay. So the key is to seek expert help. Look at your goals, find experts. An expert is, in this case anyways, an expert is someone who's already attained the goals that you set for yourself maybe 10 years ago or maybe more recently. An expert already has what you want, and sometimes, not always, because people like to talk about themselves. You can talk to people who have achieved more than you have and they won't see you as a threat because you're just not, let's say you own 5 commercial properties. And you talk to someone who has 250 or more, they're not going to see you as a threat, right? So an expert is someone who already has what you want, and they don't see you as a threat. They'll talk to you, in other words. They're willing to talk to you. A lot of people just love talking about their success, which is fine. Warren Buffett does that. He writes stuff, he writes books, he shows up on TV, he likes to talk about his success. There's nothing wrong with that. People work hard, they achieve things, why not discuss it with other people? If money's involved, some people get put off by that, but a lot of people are very interested in knowing how to grow, knowing how to say, I have something that's established, it's not growing too well, let's find out how to grow. Let's find out how to turn the corner, turn the page, and start growing again. So if you are complacent, you probably have blind spots. A blind spot is you don't know what you don't know. As an example, let's say your business is chugging along, providing a decent income. It's got stable revenue. You have a good staff, and maybe you don't realize that I should be projecting the current pace of my business out for 10 years, and then I should look at what I'm going to have 10 years from now. Is that really what I want, or do I want to grow more than that? Do I want to have a bigger enterprise? So the one way to do this is to do the same thing that good actors or good business consultants do. So good actors, when they're preparing for a role, their blind spot is they are going to be portraying someone who lives a life that probably has very little to do with the actor's life. An example might be, if someone is playing, if you find a relatively mild-mannered person, like Clint Eastwood, as an example, he's kind of a mild-mannered person, right? He's never been in trouble with the law. Some actors get in trouble with the law. There's no question about it. But Clint Eastwood is sort of a kind of a cerebral person. He's a thinker. And yet he plays these kind of edgy guys who are prone to violence. A lot of his films are violent. They have violence in them. So in his case, for actors, they need to go find experts. And an expert in this case is someone who is already leading the life that they need to portray, the actor needs to portray in a film. A mobster is another example. If you're going to play a mobster in a film, if you're an actor, you probably, don't live a mobster lifestyle. I mean, I'm sure there are some actors who double as mobsters and actors, but for the most part, that's just not the case. So they will reach out and find experts. In this case, they would try to find people who are in organized crime to learn from, to find out what that lifestyle is like so that they can portray it successfully in a film. Business consultants use something very similar to this. Here's how business consulting works. A business consultancy attracts clients who need help with their business. And it could be any business. And so the people working for the consultant firm have to very quickly ramp up a specialized knowledge of the business that the consultancy is being paid to help with. So for example, let's say you're a small airline owner and operator, and you hire a business consultant firm to help you get the kinks out of your small airline. It's pretty unlikely that the consultants working in that consultant practice studied aviation in college. They probably studied business, right? So what business consultants do is the same thing that actors do, and the same thing that you should do to fix this complacency problem. Go out and find an expert. And an expert in this case would be, for this business consultant firm, they would have to tell their workers, go out and find people in the aviation industry, find out how this business works, get some of their seasoned wisdom, their know-how, their specialized knowledge about the aviation business, bring that back, and we will organize it and present it to our client so we can try to help him fix his small airline. So it's the same thing. Actors find an expert. Business consultants find an expert. The expert is simply someone who already has what you want. If you're an actor and you're going to be playing a mobster, you find your expert is a mobster. If you're a business consultant trying to help an airline owner, your expert is going to be people in the aviation industry, right? So in this case, in order to grow faster and get out of this complacency trap, so you can start growing again, because if you think about it, how satisfying is it to go for 10 years, 20 years and say, I haven't grown. I provided a decent living for myself, but that's pretty much it. That's all I've done. It's not that satisfying. Usually you're capable of more. So you find an expert, get out of your comfort zone and go talk to these people, get them to talk, get their seasoned know-how, get their specialized knowledge. So instead of having to pick this kind of knowledge up over a long period of time through trial and error, this is like cramming for a test. This is talking to people, experts, people who already have what you want, and sort of downloading some of their knowledge. You're not going to be able to get everything, but get the parts that will make sense for you in your current situation to help you. So Hormozy did this. Hormozy actually did this. He was a business consultant for a couple of years when he graduated college. So he was in a position, he would be told by because this is the way business consultant firms work. Their bosses come and say, we just took on a new client. He's in software, right? He's in crypto software, the crypto industry software business. Go out and learn that business very quickly, bring the knowledge back. We will organize it and we will help this new client with their crypto software business. So that's kind of what business consultants do. They don't know everything, but they have to learn everything very quickly, like cramming for a test. So Hormozy did this. He was a business consultant. So what he did in his spare time, he took to that behavior of consultants, which is to go out and grab knowledge from people who are seasoned in an area. Instead of Alex Hormozy or any business consultant saying, I'm going to spend 5 years learning this business, and then by then the client that hired the consultant firm is gone. They need the knowledge now. So you have to go out and get the knowledge quickly. So in his spare time, he went out, he located seasoned gym operators. Not all of them would talk to him, but some did. And he learned the gym business pretty quickly, much more quickly than a long period of time in trial and error. So that's the whole idea here. If you want to get an edge, adopt this mindset of seek an expert. Seek expert help. Find someone who's already done what you need, and set your expectation that not everyone is going to talk to you, right? But there are a lot of people who love talking about themselves, who love talking about their success. Warren Buffett is one of them. A lot of successful people don't mind at all if they spread the knowledge, because they see it as an altruistic thing, as a good thing for society. And it is a good thing for society. Society cannot have too many successful people. The more successful people there are, the better our society will be, because everybody will be able to raise a family successfully and so on. So there's nothing wrong with sharing knowledge, but not everyone will talk to you. So you have to get out of your comfort zone, find seasoned experts. And by the way, books, reading books and artificial intelligence, it is not going to substitute for talking to live experts, because the expert will be sizing you up and they will see what you don't know. They will see your blind spots. Books and AI cannot do that. They're not interactive. If you talk to real live people who are experts, who have knowledge that you want, those people that you talk to, they're going to be asking you questions too, and they're going to figure out what you don't know, and they will better be able to help you. Books and AI can't do that, right? You need to talk to real live experts. So the whole objective is to get out of this complacency, escape this complacency. If you look at your goals from 10 years ago and you did not attain them, you've sort of been resting on your laurels. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you can say to yourself, I'm sort of dissatisfied that I haven't really fulfilled my potential. You know, maybe you say, I own 5 commercial properties. I want to own 250 commercial properties. I don't know how to do that. So you would need to seek out expert help. You would need to find experts who've already done that. They're not going to see you as a competitor. And a lot of them will be happy to explain how they did it. And you can take some of those lessons for yourself. Hormozi still does this. He has a holding company called acquisition.com. The secret sauce of his business is exactly this. He takes minority positions in businesses and he sucks the knowledge away from the owners. And the owners, maybe they don't realize that's one of his tactics, but that's one of his, he didn't tell me this, but I look at it from the outside and I say, that's kind of what he's doing. He was a business consultant. To me, it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. He spent a couple years as a business consultant. He learned how to get knowledge out of people quickly. That's how he was able to ramp up his gym business much more quickly than the average person could, because he talked to experts. Seek expert help and you can grow faster. That's the whole intent of this video. If you have any questions about this, please post in the comments. I'll try to get to those. And it's well worth it to try to up your game a little bit and to improve your situation. Because over the long term, you want to be able to look back. You don't want to be demoralized and say, I set goals 10 years ago. I'm nowhere close to that. That's kind of a bummer. And it's avoidable. All you have to do is take a strategy like this, talk to people who've already got what you want, be willing to admit that not everyone will talk to you, but just keep asking. Just keep at it. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And I really want to thank everyone for watching, and have a great day.